All right, so just looking at some of the quicker and shorter expense adjustments. So we kind of led here by stuff that's due and prepaid at the start and end of the year, and there'll be a little bit in here as well. So just looking here, I have insurance prepaid at the start of the year. I've got wages due at the start of the year, so I'll kind of need to adjust my insurance expense. I'll need to adjust my wages expense as well, and then at the end of the year, so I've closing stock here of 19,600, but I've got stock of heating oil 700, so if I've probably light and heat that I'll need to adjust. And then electricity due, so again another adjustment for light and heat. And yeah, so just in here then there's one or two other things as well. But I will start here with wages due of 2,300. So I think there isn't actually wages expense to adjust. So if that happens, I would say just general expenses is the one to adjust. Okay, so wages due 2,300 at the start of the year. If there was a wages expense, that's absolutely what I'd set it against. Um, for want of anything else, I will use general expenses. So I think I'm up to working six now. So my general expenses. So what is? So I would be putting 35,700 in as general expenses, but there was 2,300 due from last year. So of this 35,700 for general expenses, 2,300 must be last year's wages. So just take it away and you get 33,400 is what's actually going to go in as general expenses. All right. The next one I might just adjust light and heat. There's a couple of things to do with this one. So what was like 8,600 is what's in bank payments. So the payments ones here are where I'm going to get most of my expenses, as I've said. So light and heat 8,600. There's no adjustments at the start for that. Nope. At the end, so there's 700 stock of heating oil. So of this 8,600 expense, 700 was to buy heating oil that's still sitting there unused at the end of the year. So it's going to be used next year. So I take that away. Okay. So take away the stock of oil because that's going to be used next year. And then 1,020 electricity charges due. So if they are due or owed at the end of this year, they must be for this year. So 1,020 due at the end of the year. So I'm going to add those on. And then just look at, so Lambert estimated 1/3 of buildings used private residents. 25% of light and heat used should be attributed to the private section of the premises. So yeah, so 8,600 is what I paid for light and heat. I take away the 700. I add on the 1,020. What I'm going to get here, so when I add those together, 8,920. That's the light and heat actually used in the period. Okay, so it's 25% of that you take away as drawings. Okay, so take away 25% drawings. And that is 2,230. All right, so 8,920 took away 2,230, 6,690. So that's the light and heat expense. Okay, we've got something else now to add to drawings. All right, the next one that I will do then is the insurance. With insurance prepaid at the start. So what do I have? I've got annual insurance of 2,400, and that word annual there is going to come into play in a second. So insurance 2,400. insurance prepaid is 1,200. So if that was prepaid last year, it's for, yeah, so if that's sitting there prepaid at the start of the year, it's for this year. So I need to add that on. So add on the prepaid. Okay. Now, there's 3 months prepaid. So the first 3 months of this year are already paid. So like January, February, March of this year are already paid. And then I pay annual insurance. So 3 months is already paid, and then you pay 12 months insurance. So you're not kind of paying double insurance for 3 months. Okay. This annual insurance here must include 3 months next year. Like basically we must pay our insurance on, say, the 1st of April. So we pay like an annual of the 1st of April. So there's always going to be kind of 3 months prepaid at the end of the year. Okay. That's a really, really easy one to miss. Okay. So because there's 3 months prepaid, so that means like January, February, March this year is already paid for. And then I pay annual insurance. So that word annual is what this hangs on. Okay. So this must be 12 months insurance. 3 months is already paid for. So obviously only 9 months of this is for this year and 3 months is for next year. Okay. So like I said, that's a really easy one to miss. So you'll take that out basically and put that in as expense prepaid at the end of the year. Okay. So take away prepaid on the 31st of the 12th, and that is 2,400 multiplied by 3/12. All right. So that's a really easy one to miss. And that's €3,000 then for the insurance for the year. All right. What else have I got then? So there was talk here of rent being paid in advance, and then some of it being for a private residence as well. All right. So let's make an adjustment in respect of rent. So the figure for rent, which is, okay, so annual rent is 6,000. It was rented by Lambert on the 1st of October. It was paid in advance, and Lambert estimated that 1/3 of the building was used for private residence. Okay, so so you paid 6,000, and 1/3 of that is for private residence. Okay, so 1/3 of that 6,000 is drawings. So that's take away 2,000. So the actual business rent is €4,000. All right. There's a kind of distinction. So you see here it says 25% of light and heat used. So that's why I made the drawing adjustment at the end for light and heat. That's kind of why they bold it. The rent though, I'm going to adjust the 6,000. So of that 6,000 I'm paying, 1/3 of that is for drawings. So let's just kind of chuck that into drawings straight away. Okay. The business shouldn't really have to kind of worry about that. All right. So that's kind of, that's for private use. So I'm going to take the 2,000 away from that as soon as it's incurred. So that's 4,000 then kind of business rent left over. All right. What am I told then as well? That is a year's rent from the 1st of October. So October, November, December. So only 3 months of that is for this year and 9 months is for next year. So take away a prepayment of 9/12. So 9/12 of 4,000 is 3,000. And that leaves €1,000. So that's the only actual expense for this year. So that 2,000 is coming out because it's drawings. Okay, it's nothing to do. It's not kind of. It shouldn't be an expense. Okay, it's for private use. So then I'm left with 4,000 for actual business rent. It's for 12 months from the 1st of October, so 9 months is for next year. So I take that out. That's going to go in to my balance sheet, and then 1,000 is all it's going to go in as an actual rental expense. All right. The last thing I'm just going to do now, you don't have to do this. I would say you get away with doing this just on the face of the balance sheet, but I'm just going to, because of a few different places that drawings came up, I'm just going to gather them all together. So my drawings, I have drawings from rent of 2,000, from light and heat of 2,230. You'll remember I adjusted purchases. So remember who's taken some of the stock out for his own use. So that's 6,240 from purchases. And then I had to make an adjustment. Yeah, so he was taking out 90 quid a week from the cash as well. So 4,680. So that's all the drawings I have already adjusted for. I'm just kind of gathering them in one place here. So that's 15,150 in drawings. Okay, so that's all my adjustments done. Okay, so kind of the capital at the start to work out goodwill. You'd always have this one to work out the sales. So the credit sales, like I said, you can do that as a T account. I don't think you really need to. You can kind of deal with it in brackets here. The cash sales, I did this T account. You can kind of get away without doing this by just kind of adding all the cash payments together, and then maybe taking away the opening balance if it's there, and that'll give you the cash sales. Cash sales there is like the plug, the missing figure. Purchases you'll always have to do, because it's cash and credit, I'd probably do that as a working. The bank account I would do as a quick T account like this, but it can be kind of rough enough. From then on, probably loan I'd probably do as a working. These expense ones, you can see some of them are long enough, so you probably are better off doing these as workings. But say general expenses there, you would have got away with just in the P&L 35,700 brackets 2,300 and putting the 33,400 in as the expense. Okay, so you can maybe cut a couple of corners there. The drawings are probably going to add that up as a separate working. You're kind of just adding four numbers that are elsewhere. But most of them I would say are worth doing as a working before you get into the question. Okay, so that's what I'm going to do now. I'm actually doing the P&L and then the balance sheet. But this will stand to me, and I've got a lot of the kind of work done. It's just a matter of slotting figures in. All right, so next video P&L, and the next one will be balance sheet.